I remember in the early 80s, around the time Chip had the train wreck there, they had their lawyer from Washington come in, an old guy, Stanosky, and he was telling about, he said, how many times am I going to tell you that the government don't give land back, I said, well, hey, even if they steal it, I said, once we try and, we try to tell them, once they buy the farmers out, they already had we had put together some kind of a draft legislation there to counter Welsa there, where they could buy the farmers out for, and at that time, farmers and resort owners, they were ready to go. They just wanted their money, and they would go. And that's what we were trying to promote, for them to do that, instead of, running the Indian out again, buying him off at the turn of the century land prices, and pay, that's what they'd rather do than pay the people what it's worth today. So they were all against that, but they could have did overturned a lot of bad things if they would have did that.
Weren't they really fighting on to hold the reestablishment of the reservation? I mean, it barely existed. The state never even really recognized the reservation until a series of court cases in the 1970s.
Everything was overdone. Law enforcement was overdone. I mean, they talked Public Law 280, yeah, but even up until I remember when I was a kid in the 50s, they still had to, they still had to come in and talk to the person that was the deputy here in Whitehurst. They had a town constable or whatever, and the counties would have to come in and talk to him first before they could go anywhere, And I mean, that wasn't even strict enough. The state clearly overdone all the jurisdictions, all the hunting and fishing. Now the tribal councils, when you do win a case back, the hunting and fishing rights, they'll turn around and make another agreement behind your back and give it back to them again. Same with the law enforcement. We're worse off now than we were with just the county. We have more officers in the area, but that's another layer of bureaucracy over people, and people are being, once again, raped and beaten and tased with those guns, and some of them guys are near death there that they do that. And them guys are, they're all one family, racist people, man.
Mm-hmm. Would you say then that it's been in decline then since tribal police have started, or?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
How have law enforcement, how have relations traditionally been?
Yes and no. There's as far as things going on, I mean, things are still going on, but not quite as bad as they were. They're on top of things more. But those things could have been done the same way as just beefing up the county. Right now, they say, well, we have our own police. That isn't true. Those guys are all white guys, and the Indians that are on there are more racist than the white guys. And, we're worse off with these guys, in a sense, because of how they treat people. With the county, you got a recourse with these guys. Where do you go? They tell you that, oh, that's your system there. Mm-hmm. And you got a judge like Anita Flanday that is an idiot and self-appointed judge here, and I mean all these things are, and everything the state does, these RBCs tag right along, model everything they do right after them. That's what we're saying. We don't have to be like them.
Are they independent of the county police?
No, well, they're independent, but they answer to the county. They answer, the county's in charge, but they're like a little, like a little suburban branch of them or something. That's part of the agreement, that these guys, they're called to the scene and stuff. If the county's there, they'll call the tribal cops in, so they do have a tribal cop there. But the county is running any kind of investigation or any kind of whatever's going on. The county is running it.
Yeah, the state Supreme Court in the Manypenny case said it was actually an augmentation of state legal authority rather than a transfer of jurisdiction. Do you agree with that?
Say that again?
Well, they said themselves that this was not a exercise of tribal sovereignty, that this was a state augmentation of state law enforcement on the reservation, that the tribes police state agreement.
Their agreement?
Yeah.
No,
they said it was just...
That's
I mean, isn't that how they're
that's
treating
how
them?
they
They're
see
treating
it.
them as state police. They're calling them state police. But
Yeah, they're actually state
They're
police.
immune
They're
from-
what they're calling them is tribal police, but they're certified through the state. They're post certified, and they are more or less controlled by the county. I mean, they got their own little office in White Earth, but like I said, the county calls the shots. They're in essence state police, is what they are. They're
but liable only in tribal court, as I would understand.
exactly. But now I understand they're stopping everybody, you know, not just Indian people. So I guess I don't know if they can, if they would if a white person got stopped by them and protested it in state court, where he'd get, I don't know. He might be a chance for him. Protest and say, hey, these guys, you know, what are they? You got to be one or the other. You can't be all. They're wearing all kinds of hats. Those tribal police. They can go anywhere on the reservation, all 3 counties, and they can go off a county. Well, I mean, that's more power than their highway patrols and the Becker County Sheriff or any county sheriffs. These guys they created a bunch of super cops that think, you know, they can get away with anything they want, and so far they're doing it.
Mm-hmm. Do you think the existence of this tribal police force is part of what's prevented any kind of mass demonstration as there's been in the past? Or is what is the level of contentment with the...
Well, I suppose that's probably in the back of people's minds, but I don't think if people wanted to do it, I don't think those guys, you know, that they wouldn't let that stop them. It's just right now there's no one to step forward and step up to the plate there and get things rolling again. You know, we as old timers, we can sure help, but we need some young guys to step up to the plate and say, hey, let's, you know, what the hell's going on here, and start things rolling again. Start another camp, start another something. You got to do something to counter what's going on here, man, because all of our rights are being eroded, and it won't be long, man. We're just going to be another part of the state.
Mm-hmm.
Damn near there now.
How did you feel about law enforcement intervening on behalf of the tribal government in '88 and?
Well, I was against it because I knew what it was going to be. I knew it would turn out to be exactly what it's turned out to be. What they talked about, it was going to be like community policing, helping elders and the children. And we said, yeah, well, yeah, maybe they'll do that for a little while, but it won't take them long. They'll be kicking doors in and knocking people's heads in, and sure enough, about a year down the road, that's exactly what was going on. Beating up an old man like Lowell Bellinger, you know, he wasn't doing anything, just going home. And to do what they did to him and get away with it was totally bullshit.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned cases of tribal rape. Could you elaborate on that?
What's that?
How many cases of rape by tribal police officers are you aware of?
Well, I know of at least 3 myself, but talking to other people, that they've said there was a lot more that the girls have just never told about. But I know of 3 of them, and two of them are by the same cop, and he's still wearing a uniform and badge today, a tribal cop. And then the other tribal cop is now a Detroit Lakes city police.
Have the victims tried to file criminal complaints?
Oh yeah.
What's happening?
So far, I don't know. I don't know. I understand the